Oh hey y'all, thanks for joining me back in the abandoned house where Dolphin Man lives, and today I'm bringing you the Tropeognathus taming guide, and let's just jump into it. So for this video I'm going to be covering three specific parts. The first one we're going to cover is location, the big general blocks of area where you can find these things flying around. Then we're going to move into the traps and the taming of the actual creature, and then we are going to talk about the utility and the saddle, you know, how to get it, what it does, different things like that, and let's just go. So for this guide, I'm going to break it down into like three really easable, digestible parts. The first one is going to be location, just going over exactly where in the map you're going to find these bloody things. You know, just generally big area locations, not like specific coordinates. So we'll kind of cover that. We'll also go into the the traps and the taming aspect of it, because this is kind of a unique one. And I have found there's a lot of misinformation out there about ways to speed up the taming and different things. So I just kind of want to show you my testing and clear all that up, as well as we're going to talk about the utility of it, just what it does, how you do it, the saddle, and different stuff like that. And the first thing I really want to jump in is just about the location. When it comes to finding these guys, they're actually fairly simple to find. They're not like a Quetzal flying really high up in the air or anything like that. They're going to kind of fly around a little bit more like a Tapahara would, or as well as like a Pteranodon or something like that. They're really anywhere on the southern part of the map. So if you're looking at the map, anything below the 50 line going down, they're going to be everywhere in that area except for the desert biome. So in the bottom left hand corner, you have on the map, you have that whole crystal kind of flatlands area. That's where I seen them the most common. That's where, when I filmed this video, I found one and I recorded all my tests and different stuff like that. But also in the kind of area where you see all the red trees, a little closer to the middle of the map, that's going to have some areas, and as well as the very bottom right hand side. Like I said, basically the bottom half of the map except for the desert area, you're going to be able to find them fairly common, you know, and they're not too difficult to hunt down. They're not a common spawn, so I'd say they're more rare than like a Tapahara, but less rare than a Quetzal, if that makes any sense to you guys. So once you actually find one of these things, the next really important part is how do you tame it, how do you trap it, like what do you really need to do about this guy. So they just kind of fly around, they're non-aggressive until you attack them, and you can actually bola them as well. So I've seen a lot of different tips and tricks, and the one that I have like tried and that worked the most consistent is just using 4 pillars and then 4 ceilings on top of that. Now I've seen a lot of people say like you need only like 3 pillars and 2 ceilings. I tried this a lot, and I could always, not always, but a lot of times they were glitching through the roof. They were kind of just flying out, especially if I even got them trapped the first time and they were glitched. Once I bolted them, sometimes they'd kind of push back out. So that didn't really work as great for me. But when I found it was 4, it did work extremely well. Now with the 3, 2 is like the positioning was kind of weird because you put them too close. They would like, the ceilings would kind of glitch and stuff, and it just wasn't working. So what I found to be a really consistent and easy method is 4 pillars, 4 ceilings, and when you place them, you want to place them at each one of their feet, like one at each of the back feet, like right where they are, just kind of like not clipping into them, but fairly close to them. Just leave a tiny little gap, and then again by the front 2 wings. Now it's going to be more of like a kind of a V shape and not necessarily like a perfect square, but that really worked out extremely well for me every time. So once you actually do get them kind of trapped, you find one, you bola them, you put the stone stuff, you put the stone building materials in place, and he's going to be trapped. Now what you have to do there for just like the basic method is you chain bola it. While it's chain bola'd, it will let you come up and feed it a piece of meat every once in a while, and then you just kind of rinse and repeat. You know, it's a very simple creature. It eats exceptional kibble, then, you know, mutton, prime meat, regular meat, and so on and so forth. Just very simple like that. Now, where I'm seeing a lot of misinformation is ways to speed this process up. Now, the food drains incredibly slow. So in this example, I'm taming a level 15 that I'm going to even start first, and then I'm going to start a level 25 after that, and the level 25 is actually going to be the first one to tame. So with the base food drop, it goes so slow. You're talking about dropping like 10 points of food like every like 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and that just takes a lot of time. Now, if you trap one and then you chain bola it and just watch its kind of food go down before you feed it, it's actually going to drop down a lot more there. Now, how you can even speed it up more is if you do damage to it. Now, so what I did is I chain bola it first, let it run around, and you can see the food starts to drain. Now, what I do next is while it's, I chain bullet it again, and I come up just so it doesn't come and bite me, and I just pike it a couple times to really get the health down. Now, what happens with that is just like any other creature, as it's going to heal itself, it's going to drain its food pretty rapidly. So as you can see, the food is just dropping incredibly fast with these stats. So that's going to make it that much easier to tame. Now, what I saw a lot of people commenting and stuff is this going to, in other people's videos I was researching, that this will mess up the taming effectiveness, that it won't come out like the best it can, or also that as soon as they fed it, that the taming started dropping back down immediately, and they thought it was just completely wrong and whatnot. So when I tested it, I did find that it does have perfect taming effectiveness. So as you can see, I pike it, and the first food I give it, it will still say 99.7. So maybe it's like that 0.2 down. It could be also my rates or whatnot. But yeah, it's going to give you the maximum really that you can get anyways. And that was with prime meat, not mutton, or exceptional kibble as well. On top of that, if you pike it, it's not going to lower its taming effectiveness, and it's actually going to, like I said, get the food down so much faster. The thing is, a lot of people were being honest in the comment section. If you feed it the first one, you're going to notice it's going to jump up really fast, and then it's going to start going back down. Now, I think this is just part of like, because this is more of like a glitch process, right? It's not the official taming method. But what I found out is if you let the food drain plenty, I mean, you're talking about a couple thousand, if depending on what level, you know, you want to drain at least like half of its health. When you first feed that first one, yeah, it is going to jump up, and then it's going to slowly start going back down, but it's going to want to feed a lot sooner than it would the other ones. And as soon as you feed it again, it's going to kind of catch back up. It's not going to get messed around anymore, and then it's going to kind of keep that consistent feeding schedule. And then you can just kind of keep feeding it, and it is going to tame so much quicker than if you do any other method. So yeah, shout out to Gamers Teach 2, or Teachers Game 2. I'll put a link in the channel. I saw this like poke method from him first, but he posted a couple different methods, and I just saw a lot of range of comments, so I just kind of wanted to clear that up for what I have and kind of show it on screen as well. And then for the next part, let's talk about the utility and the saddles. Now, to kind of wrap up things here, we're just going to talk about the saddle and the utility of it. So the saddle can be learned at level 65, and it's not a tech saddle, it's just kind of a base saddle. You can make it in the fabricator. It's actually the very first saddle that you'll be able to make in the fabricator. And the ingredients for it are going to be 120 crystal, 450 fiber, 325 hide, 600 ingots, and 250 polymer, which is really not that bad. Considering that this one actually saddle is more than just a real saddle, it has two really main utilities. The first one is a grenade launcher on the front, which is absolutely crazy. The ammo just takes straight grenades, and it has a kind of caveat to it. So the other functionality is going to be the jet. Now, you can only use the rocket launcher when you're in jet mode. Now, jet mode kind of has two speeds to it. You have just your general cruise. So when you go in, I play on PC, so when I hit control, you just kind of cruise. Now when you're cruising, you have the ability to start using the rocket or the grenade launcher, and that is going to be your right click, and your left click is still going to be like a base attack. And when you're in this cruise mode, you can also press C, and you're going to do this kind of loop. Now this loop is really cool for two reasons. It doesn't take a lot of stamina, which is really nice. So it's a really evasive move, so when you're, you know, in an air battle and stuff, you can do this. It's not going to drain your stamina like crazy, and you can get really good position. Now, depending on which way you're looking when you do it, you can either just kind of do a little loop-de-loop and it'll kind of do a twist and keep going the way you're looking, or if you press it and you just turn your camera around really quick, you can just do like a real quick 180 and just beeline it the other way, which is really nice as well. And you have a sprint mode with it as well, so if you press shift, you'll just kind of like go into afterburner mode and just cruise it like none other. Now, I saw a lot of people also talking that if you are in the kind of jet mode, the booster mode or whatever, that you don't use stamina, and that's actually not true. You use very, 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 very little stamina, but it's still being drained. So as I can show on the screen, I am in cruise mode, just kind of chilling along, and as soon as I go check the dino stats, you can see my stamina is draining. Now, it is barely anything, so it is practically like it's not draining it, but I don't want there to be misconception, like someone's thinking like, oh no, I only have like 100 stamina left and I can't fly them in the middle of the ocean. Oh, I can just cruise, boost it, and it'll be fine. I won't use any stamina, and I'll be safe. So that's just definitely not true, so be aware of that as well. Thank you guys so much for making this far into the video. If you guys haven't already, don't forget to like it, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I just started a new schedule. I haven't figured out what days are going to be what, but I'm going to be posting 2 videos a week as well as doing 2 live streams a week, with possibly more live streams just kind of fiddled in. I like to do late night COD streams as well as like midday ARC streams, so look out for that as well, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.